course, fair and balanced, to Mike Norman, who says more spending is exactly what this fragile economy needs. Right, Mike?
Look, Charles, somebody's got to spend, okay? Spending equates to income, to people, to firms. Firms then hire people. People spend that money, and that's how the economy grows. Investments are made. Somebody has to spend. Look, last year the economy contracted at 6.5%. We went from a 3.5% unemployment rate to a 10%. Like you said, 27 million people out of work or underemployed. Somebody has to spend. Right now, the private sector, you don't see the level of spending and investment necessary to sustain employment at its highest level. You don't see the economy running at its highest output. Charles, the government either has to do it, or if it cuts back now, we are facing another depression.
But here's the problem. We have spent. We've spent like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, we spent like crazy.
How much did we spend?
You want to add it all up? You want to add up the bailouts?
Well, I know the numbers.
Okay, so
I know the numbers, and you're wrong. It's factually incorrect.
But here's the point. Here's the point. We've spent like crazy, and all of the things you just described happened while we were spending. It didn't stop unemployment from going through the roof.
To the contrary, my friend.
It didn't stop the economy from grinding to a halt.
First of all, the economy was contracting at 6.5%. We put the stimulus through, and guess what happened? The economy produced $500 billion more output. Household net worth went up by $6 trillion.
Household net worth went up when the stock market went up.
Went 70% up. Home values stopped going down. We got 1.6 million jobs created. When you look at both surveys, the household survey and the establishment
Don't start using that phantom created a save stuff.
You know, I'm not using
Let's talk about the real deal. Let's talk about the real deal.
I just did.
But the country is in a lot of pain right now. People are hurting, and they
for no good reason.
And they see that the government has spent like crazy, and nothing has come of it.
Well, that's the media saying this. I just went through 5 bullet points of things that did come of it.
That's exactly what those are, bullet points. We just had GDP revised down to 2.7% for the first quarter, and that was the quarter. That was the quarter that had the largest bulk of stimulus spending in the whole plan.
No, you're wrong.
That boggles the mind.
Because I look at these numbers every day, spending year over year now. If you look, and the Treasury, I'll be happy to provide the link. The Treasury comes out with these numbers every single day. We're $500 billion below where we were at the same time last year in terms of total outlays, total spending. But Charles, look, yeah, the economy grew at 2.7%, but the point is it grew, okay? We were going down at a 7% rate. If you want to do that again, Charles, you're going to see a 17% unemployment rate.
You just talked about businesses, right? Businesses are right now sitting on about $1.8 trillion. Households are sitting on top of a lot of money. It's not that the money is not that there isn't a lot of money in the system, Mike. I think a lot of people believe, and I happen to be in the camp, that if the government were actually to move out of the way and let the free markets and capitalism work, then it would work. Listen, let me ask you. Okay, let me ask you a question. You got a guy.
Can you prove that?
You've got.
I mean, this is the argument that these deficit cutters are using. They're saying if only the government gets out of the way, then suddenly there's going to be this explosion of confidence, and everybody's going to run out and spend their money.
Right now, there's a lack of confidence. When you only create 41,000 private sector jobs after all of the things that were dumped into this economy, that is a vote of no confidence.
You know what? China did a stimulus that was 15% of their GDP, which would have been like if we did a $3 trillion stimulus.
And you know what? And that was brought up by Stephen Lee to a good point. There was a real stimulus plan. You know, you could argue like Eisenhower. You built 46,000 miles. You built 46,000 miles of roads. That's smart spending. But if you start spending money on dump trucks and puberty research, things like that, sperm research, that's not smart. That's not an investment.
Using that example, Charles. But let me say, I'll go with your example. You know, that research equates to income to some firm, which is then going to turn around and spend it in their neighborhood. Some other firm is going to make that money. They're going to hire people. Look,
because it's only temporary. They'll put it in the bank.
The only way for the government to get the money out there is to spend it out there into the economy. And if the private sector is contracting and now we're going to cut the government spending, we're going down. We are going down.
You have the last word, my friend. Thanks a lot.